Cinema, simply put, is the art of audiovisual storytelling. The art of telling stories and expressing ideas through the interplay of sound, performance, cinematography, art direction, and editing. With a strong sense of visual narrative, master filmmakers elevate cinema to the height of its artistic possibilities. By the interplay between story and form, they reach beyond technical conventions to craft grandiose cinematic pieces. Through visual storytelling, filmmakers resignify our aesthetic experience with their movies. Pan's Labyrinth by Guillermo del Toro utilizes aesthetic iconography to transform the way we see the tragedies of the Spanish Civil War. In Mulholland Drive by David Lynch, visual storytelling foregrounds the world of dreams and nightmares. And in The Third Man, director Carol Reed utilizes the very best of cinema's visual tools to craft and paint its complex narrative. The content of the image and the resources of montage and mise-en-scène impose a world of deep meaning that functions beyond the surface of dialogue and plot. In Akira Kurosawa's final epic run, the visual technique is what structures the viewer's basic interpretation of the work. Taking inspiration from Shakespeare's King Lear and historic Japanese myths, Kurosawa's triumph in visual storytelling starts with his hand-painted storyboards. There's a visual control of every shot here. Every image is carefully crafted for the utmost visual impact in both action and dialogue sequences. On a first level, the details of visual storytelling help set the scene, creating the atmosphere for the action to take place. And on a secondary level, the film image and aesthetic holds connotative meanings that work in the surface of greater themes and ideas within the plot. Here, color is a thematic device, a way of externalizing the character's inner conflicts amongst the chaos of the battlefield. The image here alludes to the inner works of politics, war, and mythos. The intrinsic melodrama of the film's core story is reflected in every imagetic decision, and the sense of turmoil in the screenplay is matched by the intense visual narrative. The use of a non-naturalistic color palette, in dialogue with the chiaroscuro lighting and the intense performance of some of the best classical Japanese actors, all emphasizes the high stakes of the plot. Image and story here are working together in unison. But not all visual storytelling is made the same. A filmmaker might wish to subvert all rules, or even to create new ones altogether. Peeping Tom by British director Michael Powell investigates the subversive powers of the camera itself. But here, the visual storytelling feels dissonant. Despite the dark nature of the story, the film is shot in a very warm and saturated color palette. Here, the use of dramatic lighting and precise mise-en-scène serves to highlight a crucial revelation of the character's arc. The darkness transgresses the bubblegum Technicolor. This, of course, is all done intentionally. Michael Powell is masterfully playing a visual trick in the audience. By first alluring us into this world with highbrow cinematic language and then sweeping us off our feet with the dark undertones, much like Mark Lewis does to his victims.
Take it away. Take it away.
But despite the immediate visual impact of a maximalist production design, Films don't need to have grandiose visual productions to have pertinent and strong imagery. Jean Cocteau's The Testament of Orpheus requires from the audience no prior understanding of cinematic language and its codes. The imagery of the film is deceptively simple. It flows much like a theater play, allowing space for the mise-en-scène to carry the story's heavy weight. Jean Cocteau here creates a film of high visual impact through uncomplicated but poetic symbolism. Similarly is The Elephant Man by David Lynch. Both films are testaments of the power of a more subdued visual narrative, one that doesn't intrude on the story, but parallels every single idea delivered by the screenplay. This poetic realism framework vividly delineates the film's core concept, articulating both the humanistic and the transcendental qualities of the screenplay. In Apocalypse Now by Francis Ford Coppola, the tumultuous landscapes build an almost tactile experience for the audience. A tour de force of pure cinematic storytelling where every single element works in the service of plot development. Visual storytelling here serves both the narrative and the atmosphere, whilst at the same time alluding to something more. There's a haziness that envelops all the cinematography as the characters travel deeper and deeper into the jungle. The warm color palette here, while juxtaposed with the intense fog, creates an almost surreal experience. The strong use of light and shadow enforces the overarching conflict between the main characters with the space they inhabit. Throughout the film, the contrast of both color and light add dramatic features, casting an allegorical aura to the feature.
Nightmares. This was the end of the river, all right.
This type of visual crescendo is what makes the story all the most impactful. Visual storytelling is used here to closely integrate all aspects of the motion picture, weaving meaning into each frame, creating an unforgettable experience for the audience. For mise-en-scène, the possibilities of artificial light, color, montage, special effects, all those elements compose cinema's core syntax, but they must work together, much like in an orchestra, to forge one strong vision in concert with the screenplay. From pure artifice to cinematic realism, great visual storytelling can be found in any genre of cinema, at the core of every cinematic masterpiece.